Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Blind Boys Politics. Nicholas Rod, Chris Baker here with you on this Monday morning for another round of news. Chris, how are we looking for this Monday morning as far as the weather's concerned?
In Los Angeles, California, it is partly cloudy and 70. In Houston, Texas, it is partly cloudy and 89. In Chicago, Illinois, it is raining and 79. In New York City, it is partly cloudy and 87.
Nice, nice. All right. So, Chris, how was your weekend? Anything exciting?
No, not really.
No.
Nice warm weekend.
You did
Nice
tell,
day to. It was a nice weekend to be outside.
yeah, I mean, you did tell me that you were up on the roof today, so that's interesting.
Hey, when you gotta power wash your house, you gotta power wash your house.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't have the most exciting of weekends. Saturday was pretty nice. Went out for dinner and ice cream with my family, and then Sunday was a day of working on some article stuff and working on some schoolwork. So it's been a very work filled day, but actually it hasn't been that bad. Like it's been oddly relaxing for it being a work day.
I'm just looking forward to the weekends from here on out because summer's finally here.
Yeah, summer definitely seems to be kicking into full gear, and I'm very happy about that. Like you, I love summer. It, I'd say it's my favorite season by far.
But I have a very busy summer coming up. Doing a lot of home renovations and
Mm,
things like that. We have an in-ground pool that unfortunately we probably won't be having much longer.
mm,
Um, we're going to be putting in a huge garden where the pool is now, but there's a concrete deck all the way around the pool and leading up to the house. So we're getting rid of that,
yeah,
getting rid of the pool house. It's bittersweet. It's time for it to go, but also at the same time, kind of sad to see it go. There's a lot of memories there.
yeah, yeah. Whenever you have something that's full of that many memories, it definitely is hard to let go of it. No doubt about that. But at least you have those memories, and now moving forward, you'll have something like you said, a really nice garden that'll look very nice from here on out once you get that set up.
Yeah, 11 years of memories. It's going to be hard to fill it in. And
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely get what you mean.
yeah, I'm excited for the garden because last summer we learned that gardening is kind of fun watching the garden grow. And it's, like last year we had 4 cucumber plants and we picked 110 cucumbers,
Wow.
which it was oddly very exciting.
I get it because I've never been like a huge fan of gardening, but I've had a couple plants over the years. And I remember I think the only plant that I had that actually produced anything was my bean plant. I had a nice little bean plant that gave me a couple nice fresh green beans.
Yeah. So, you know, and it was just a little garden and it did quite well. And so now we're going to have one, the size of what our pool is, most
Right.
likely, grow grass around it, put in nice flower beds and all that. So it will be nice. Still will be sad to not have a pool because, the pool was like what we did in the summer
Right, right.
and
It's the main
everyone came over.
activity.
Yeah. Like we used to have campers and things like that, but when you
Mm,
have a pool, that's like what you do in the summer. You don't
yeah,
go camping.
right. You enjoy that pool
So
every second that you can.
so now we'll be gardeners.
Yeah. Now I gotta tell you, Chris, we've seen your love for gardening, landscaping, all of the such, on the show here, especially in the past few weeks, I'd say. Well, I think a bit of that's rubbing off on me now.
Good,
'Cause
good, good.
last night I found myself looking to see if it's possible to grow indoor mint plants.
Hmm.
And the prospect of possibly having mint plants excited me.
who doesn't love plants? I mean, I don't know. I've turned into quite the gardener, and I'm a-okay with that.
Mm,
Because the before and after is what's all worth it.
sure. And I'll tell you, like I've worked in gardens for for short periods of time, only a few times, but it's enough to really give you at least somewhat of an experience. It is fun. Like there are some very entertaining and fulfilling aspects to gardening. A lot of people would chop it up to be just something, boring or whatever, but it's oddly fascinating. I'll put it that way.
And it kind of can be relaxing. I'm not going to lie.
Hmm.
You know, I've even done it at work where I'll be mulching a flower bed and just someone will scream my name across the parking lot that they need me for something. And I've literally jumped before because I was just like literally shut out the world and I was just mulching.
Well, yeah. I mean, in my mind, gardening, especially like on a nice, warm, sunny day, when you're tending to the gardens and stuff, you end up just in this place where everything just feels so peaceful and natural. You hear the birds chirping, you got the garden, you might smell the flowers. The sun's, just hitting you just right, and it's just so peaceful.
So, Nick, if I come up missing on weekends, you know I'm in my peaceful land of gardening
Yeah.
because we have a lot of things coming up. We got our front yard flower beds all beautified, added new ones, which, oh my God, we added another flower bed. Whoopsies. And now we have to get the front lawn looking good. One of the porches out front, we're going to be putting in a check stacking. And then, quote, the backyard is a jungle right now, so it's going to get unjungled.
Unjungled.
It
That,
somehow our backyard turned into a mess.
hmm. It's funny how things like that happen out of nowhere.
Well, we have the backyard where Annie is, and then behind that fence we have more land.
Sure.
And last summer we were kind of focusing on that because we had another shed coming to go there. So we got rid of all the vines, cleaned up all that, pulled out all the tree stumps because we had a tree that had to come down, and we just cut the tree and just dropped all the stuff there, and that was the end of that.
Right.
So we cleaned all that out, got that all good, put in the tree. Well, we neglected the front yard, the pool area, and Annie's area. So this summer, we're trying to get the front yard back to a nice grassy yard, backyard, pool area, figure out what the heck's going on there, and deal with the backyard, I call it.
Yeah, that sounds that sounds like it's gonna be quite the task.
Well, see, the
Quite the
thing
task.
is, we bought the house off of an old retired couple that was retired like 30 years.
Hmm.
And so they obviously had a lot of time on their hands. So they just put in a crap ton of flower beds. Like we have one that runs the whole property line
Wow.
from the backyard.
Hmm.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks really nice. But until you get it all nice, it's a jungle.
Yeah, yeah.
There's just flower beds everywhere. It's a mess right now. But by the end of the summer, it will be beautiful for the snow to come.
Hmm. Now, I'll tell you something. Like when it comes to gardening, kind of talking more about gardening here a little bit. It's like I love the idea of gardens and plants and flowers and stuff like that. What always petrifies me about gardens and stuff, though, are the bees and the other insects that find their way throughout the garden. Because honestly, full honesty, right now, insects scare me to death.
Well, I'm not so much scared of the bugs in my flower beds. I'm more worried about the dog poop because that seems to be where the dog likes to poop. But moving into our topic, you kind of led us right into it with you being terrified with insects.
Mhm.
We're talking about the cicadas. I'm sure you've heard about them.
Yeah, most definitely.
and they've kind of just come out and they've taken storm. Well, I don't know if you saw this report, but the FDA has to advise against people from eating them if they have a seafood allergy.
Hey, what?
Yep.
Wait.
Because I guess there's something in the cicadas that is also in the seafood.
What?
Yeah. So, but here's the thing.
Oh god.
I was looking into this because I'm like, people are just picking up cicadas and eating them.
That's kind of my first thought too. Yeah.
Well, when you go to Google,
Oh god.
the world of Google,
I'm scared already.
you type in cicada recipes. I found a cicada cookie.
Oh.
You need a half a cup of shortening, 3 eggs, 1.5 cup sugar, 4 ounces unsweetened chocolate chips, melted, 2 teaspoons baking powder, 2 teaspoons vanilla, an additional 1/3 cup of sugar, 1 beaten egg, 1/2 cup coarsely chopped nuts, and about 60 par-boiled dry roasted cicadas.
Oh no.
So there's your cicada cookies. Well, Nick, if you don't want your dessert because you're, eating healthy, for this one it's cicada tempura, 36 cicada wings removed, 3/4 cup flour, 1/4 cup cornstarch, 8 ounces Sprite, 1 tablespoon lime seasoning, 2-quart canola oil. So, Nick, my question is, we both know I'm the baker and the cook. So my
Yeah.
question is, I'm gonna cook you this for dinner, and you're gonna eat it.
How much am I being paid?
Oh no, you're not being paid anything. You can't leave the dinner table until you've ate 1 cookie and 1 of the tempuras. Okay?
God.
Now, here's the thing. There are hundreds of recipes.
Now, I wish I could say that this surprises me, but it doesn't. And here's why. There are, like, you can literally buy flavored crickets and other insects to eat. Like, you can buy sour cream and onion or bacon crickets and amongst other flavors of crickets. And you can do that with multiple other insects. So the fact that these exist and the fact that all these recipes exist, I can't in truth say it surprises me, but it's still disturbing all the same.
Now, speaking of crickets, I have a friend that will actually go out into the woods with nothing and survive for like a weekend, a week. I think the longest he's gone is 2 weeks. Like he goes in there with nothing but a knife and the clothes on his back. I think he's absolutely crazy, but he likes it. And he says he has eaten crickets before, and he said they taste just fine. So,
Yeah.
Nick, I'm going to make you a cicada cookie. You're going to eat it, and you're going to tell everyone how it tastes.
Throw up live on show.
Okay, you know what I'm really interested in?
What's that?
I wonder if I made a cicada cookie and I made a regular chocolate chip cookie.
Okay.
I wonder if you would be able to notice the difference.
It really depends. Okay, so things like crickets, based off what I've heard, from watching different YouTube videos and stuff on it, things like crickets taste like, again, like you said about your friend there, crickets kind of taste more okay. They're not as like terrible as others. But from what I've heard, there are other insects that are just god awful. And I really wonder where cicadas would fall on that spectrum.
Well, you know what, Nick? Since I will be seeing you Friday, I'm going to see if I can get my hands on cicadas now. And I really want to see if we can do this. See if you can identify which one is the regular chocolate chip cookie and which one isn't.
Oh, God. All right, but you should do it to the other people that
Oh,
will
I
be with
will.
us.
But we won't tell them. We won't tell
No,
them. We'll
no, they
tell
don't have
them
to
with,
know.
yeah. I really want to see if I can get my hands on cicadas.
Oh God, if you actually, God,
I will
please, for the
record
love of
it.
God, don't.
I will record it and everyone will find out Monday.
Uh, God, I'm scared in a sense, but intrigued all the same,
So am
disturbed all the
I.
same.
Watch me screw it up and be like, which one was this? Eat a cookie and which one did
Yeah,
you
right,
wear?
right.
I'm really tempted because you can buy cicadas on Amazon.
Oh no. Oh God, guys, he's gonna do it.
You're SOL.
He's gonna do it.
Okay. Well, I planned for that. Let's get into the news.
All right, so getting into the news this morning, we have, as always, our Monday morning COVID-19 update. At this point, 63% of adults in the US have received at least one shot of the COVID-19 vaccine, and also 52% of adults in the country are fully vaccinated. The US is sharing vaccines with other countries, with 75% of the doses being shared through COVAX. And 1 million doses just went to South Korea over the weekend.
There is currently an uptick in hospitalizations for the age group of 12 to 17. And in West Virginia, if you get vaccinated, you get a gun. And Ohio's first $1 million win of the vaccination contest went to an Amazon delivery driver. And to see more of these popular incentives that the government companies are offering, check out tomorrow's article for that.
Moving right along here, and we have some news about Facebook and the ban on former President Trump's account. So you will not see former President Trump on Facebook or Instagram until at least January of 2023. Facebook on Friday handed down a 2-year suspension from former President Trump's initial ban date after the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Facebook has a quote, and Chris, would you read that for us, please?
Given the gravity of the circumstances that led to Mr. Trump's suspension, we believe his actions constituted a severe violation of our rules, which merit the highest penalty available under the new enforcement protocols. End quote.
After January 7th, 2023, Facebook says they will look to experts to reevaluate Trump's ban. Some external factors, like instances of violence, restrictions on peaceful assembly, and overmarkers of civil unrests. If Facebook determines at that point there is still a serious risk to public safety, it will extend Trump's restrictions for a set period of time. Then they will continue to reevaluate until the risk has diminished.
Now, that doesn't just apply to former President Trump's Facebook account. Facebook has also announced it will no longer automatically give politicians a pass when it comes to the company's hate speech policy. This is a huge reversal of the company's privileged treatment that is usually given to politicians. Previously, the company applied two tests to all political posts: A, newsworthiness, and B, the propensity to cause harm. Under the company's announcement, Facebook will not give as much weight to newsworthiness and instead evaluate on the propensity to cause harm, which is how Facebook treats the rest of us. It is important to understand that the newsworthiness standards isn't going away completely. Facebook says causes where posts are too newsworthiness to ignore and they allow them to be published, Facebook will disclose that as an exemption.
They will also be more transparent about the company's strict system for those who violate the rules. In fact, that strikes policy is already posted. This announcement directly goes back to Facebook's semi independent oversight board. Last month, they temporarily decided to uphold the ban on former President Trump's Facebook page. Well, under the board's decision last month. It required Facebook to not only review the company's ban on Trump, but also come up with a clear policy for hate speech. The White House had a reaction to the news, and here's what White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said.
As always, it's a decision for the company to make and any platform to make, and clearly they've come out and made their decision. Our view continues to be, though, that every platform, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, any other platform that is disseminating information to millions of Americans, has a responsibility to crack down on disinformation, to crack down on false information, whether it's about the election or even about the vaccine, as we're trying to keep the American public safe and get more people or return to normal out in society. And I think as we look at it, we learned a lot from President Trump, the former president, over the last couple of years about his behavior and how he uses these platforms. It feels pretty unlikely that the zebra is going to change his stripes over the next 2 years.
Transitioning over to your taxes, according to the most recent numbers from the IRS, as of May 28th, about 12 million tax returns have been received but not processed yet. But more than 137 million have been processed, and more than 101 million refunds have been issued, with the average refund amount so far being $2,779. So if you are missing yours, clearly you are not alone. You are one of 12 million people. Yes, the IRS website says their goal is to get your tax refund within 21 days, but obviously for so many of you, that's not happening, and everyone does understand how frustrating that can be.
That being said, the IRS has competently given several reasons as to why they're behind on the tax returns. The strain of issuing stimulus checks right in the middle of a tax season, processing and verifying the new unemployment claims, the recovery rebate credit, all the new laws, and flagging all of the errors by filers. On top of the fact that the IRS is still not at full capacity and their budget has been slashed year after year. As for your unemployment tax refunds, the IRS says the payments to 10 million taxpayers started going out in mid-May. Now, many still haven't gotten theirs yet, but the IRS did say that it would take all summer long to get them out to you.
Speaking of which, 2.8 million of you got your unemployment tax refund last week, according to the IRS. The next batch will go out in mid-June, the IRS says, and it has so far identified 13 million taxpayers qualified for the benefit. Under the American Rescue Plan, Congress made the first $10,200 of your 2020 unemployment tax rate if you had an adjusted gross income less than $150,000. Keep in mind the refund is not $10,200 if you qualify. The refund will be based on the tax you paid on the first $10,200 of your 2020 unemployment benefit. If you made more in unemployment benefits, you still owe on that.
For this batch, the IRS looked at 3.1 million of the simplest tax returns, recalculated them based on the law, and found that 2.8 million were actually owed a refund. If your refund is adjusted, the IRS will send you a letter within 30 days informing you of what changed. The IRS will continue to reevaluate and roll out tax returns in phases, going from the simplest to the most complicated returns all summer long. Some taxpayers will receive a refund, and others will have the overpayment applied to taxes that are due or other debts. Then for the rest, there will be no change at all. If you do qualify, we recommend that you talk to your tax preparer with any questions that you may have.
Thursday, protesters took to the streets of Minneapolis as the street where George Floyd was murdered was being reopened. The protesters used their bodies and cars to prevent it from being reopened, and activists say that the street corner where 46-year-old George Floyd was murdered should remain closed until other investigations are done. And Mayor Jacob Fry said there will be a memorial where Floyd was murdered, as he promised.
That's what we have this morning for you as far as the main news is concerned. Now we get into rapid. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have welcomed a baby girl who is their second child, and her name is Lilibet Diana.
Vice President Kamala Harris's trip was postponed Sunday after the plane had, quote, technical difficulties.
The White House press briefing room will be back to full capacity starting today.
Nick, what do you got for Monday morning good news? If you guys like the good news stories, you should go watch Saturday Good News because Nick gave us 6 good news stories and they were all great. So what do you got for this Monday morning good news?
On this Monday morning, we turn to New Jersey, where a former veteran donated 36 acres of land just outside a national forestry area, donated 36 acres so that a resort can be built for homeless veterans who are struggling with addiction. This resort will give the opportunity for rehabilitation, vocational training, as well as many other things. And it's just like in this nice rural area, this veteran, he had obviously faced the struggles that come with being a veteran after you leave the service, and he wanted to give back in some way. And also he dedicated it to his partner, so that who had passed away just recently from cancer. So that was part of it too. And what's even crazier about this is the fact that he actually turned down a $3 million offer for the land before he decided to donate it.
Wow. 36 acres donated to other veterans like himself to help them fighting addiction and getting them back on their feet, because I mean that's great because that's going to help thousands upon thousands of people. Whether it's the veteran themselves or even the families, because when a veteran is struggling, it affects the family just as much as it affects them.
Absolutely.
And then to deny a $3 million check and instead decided to donate it, and then donated it in honor of his partner.
Yes.
Well-round. It's like you give great news and then great news and then even better news on top of that.
Yeah, it's honestly amazing because you hear stories from veterans on how hard it is to really reacclimate to normal society after you've been in the service and you've faced the darkness that comes from war and all of that. And this will be a huge helping hand to getting these veterans just back up on their feet. Like you said, it can have a huge effect on the families of these veterans as well. And the letter of intent to donate the land was signed at the end of May, so that process is moving along nicely at this point.
I hope there's an update to this story once it's fully opened and operable.
Me too. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes out. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes open to see if I can't grab it when it does come out. So we'll definitely keep you updated on this story.
Well, that is the end of this Monday morning news episode. Make sure you follow us on the Blind Boys Politics Twitter account for the latest 24 hours breaking news so you are always in the know. Follow us on our personal accounts to see what we are up to, and check out our recent Medium articles. We are always reporting news that we do not get a chance to talk about here on the podcast. But until Wednesday's dumb law, have a great start to your week, guys.
Have a lovely day.